Good morning, y'all. Hey, say good morning, y'all. Good day. Go ahead, grab a friend. Let's go away. Let's ooh, yeah, you already know what it is. It's your favorite blurred click, ready to talk blurred shit. It is a whole new week, and yes, we live, baby. Yeah, this ain't no rerun. We in your face. And check it out. Have you seen all of this speculation about Mr. Snowfall now finna be Mr. T'Challa? Is it real? I don't know. We're going to talk about it. Got a couple of friends along with us this morning to help us discuss this, as well as this is a point of topic that is on top of mind of a lot of folks out there. But hey, it ain't going to be the only thing we talk about. So let's go ahead and get into it. In addition to that, of course, there's plenty between the sheets. And when I say the sheets, I'm talking about the book sheets, hallelujah, because Pink Riot is going to join us. Hey, we're going to talk about some literal stuff. So get yourself comfortable and go ahead. Call up a friend, hit that like, subscribe button, and let's go ahead and get ready to rock on out this morning as we do on the weekly. And be ready to answer the question, is this your king? Hallelujah. Let's see how it goes, everybody. It's the new Blurred Order. Let's get on into it.
This is Thugnificent telling everybody to tune in to New Blurred Order, my nigga. The best podcast on the planet Earth, nigga.
No, like we said, Mr. Damson Idris, Mr. Snowfall himself, Mr. F1, is in talks, evidently. Well, I don't know if in talks is the right word. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, because what basically happened was he went on to, I think it was Good Morning America, right? And in Good Morning America, this young man, Craig Melvin, asked him specifically, yo, have you spoken with Marvel about maybe playing T'Challa? And his answer was yes, no. What does yes, no mean? It wasn't no. It wasn't absolutely not. It wasn't how dare you. It was and the question is, are we cool with this? Are we gonna rock with this new Damson Idris? I ain't gonna lie, I'm intrigued. I don't think that this is the worst choice in the world. I think that right now, in particular, that Mr. Idris has a unique amount of fame that he could dispose onto our good character, Mr. T'Challa, who I'm representing highly today, all right, in the background as well. So, but how does the rest of the world feel about it? How do the blurred culture, the blurred community as a whole, feel about now recasting? Because this was a whole thing before. You got to remember, a lot of folks led the recast T'Challa movement, of which Ant, who hopefully pulls up today, was a leading staunch member of this clique. And I'm really curious as to how some of our guests may feel about it. So let's go ahead and get into our lead today, and let's bring in our guest, Pink Riot. But the lead, as I said, is going to be Mr. Damson Idris. Give me that link. I mean, give me that. Where's my link? Where's my link? There you are. All right, ladies. So, as you all know, good morning, Keisha. How you doing? Hey, we got Keisha in the high. We got Bree in the high. And Miss Bree is still boycotting Last of Us. Hallelujah, as you should. And Keisha's in there. I ain't gonna lie. So I'm tempted to bring up some of the stuff happened off screen, but I ain't gonna do all that right now. What I really want to know is what y'all think about this right here. For those of y'all who are unaware, we are joined live by none other than Pink Riot themselves. Pink Riot, you can catch every single Thursday evening, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, which you'll hear them discuss all kinds of nerd and blurred topics, including what it means to be in your own library, like we see them in every time they pull up. Ladies, it's good to see you all again. I hope all has been well. I'm gonna just dive right into it now. We all have seen this news This is no longer anything that is, is private. It's out there. And what were your first thoughts? And I'm not gonna lie, this ain't the first time this has been brought up as a potential casting. Are you in it or not? Give me an answer. I'm going to you, Bree, first. Bree, would you be able to see yourself going to a movie to see Damson Idris as T'Challa?
I would say 100% yes.
Hey.
I would want him to like bulk up at some point. Because to me he's a little medium. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Black Panther could have some but also if the way that they're talking about it, like if we're thinking about the ending of the Wakanda Forever movie, the young T'Challa, it's like T'Challa Jr., if you will, I guess. To me, he's like a spot on casting for him aged up. So that makes a lot of sense. And it also makes sense to have someone who is a little younger presenting if they're going to give him an opportunity to like get older and then have other movies coming out later. So I think it's a spot on casting. I haven't watched Snowfall, but I have seen he came through to the Met Gala like all swagged out and on his like Formula One racer bag. And I was like, okay, they're setting him up for like man of mystery type of vibes. He did his thing, so I could totally see that casting. Yeah.
Okay. Keisha.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. I think enough time has gone by. I think they did a really good job honoring Chadwick during Wakanda Forever. So it's not like I don't know if you guys ever watched the show Spartacus.
Okay.
Yeah, like the first season. I mean, the first actor, Andy Whitfield, he passed away from cancer as well, but they immediately recasted him. And so, there was no recognition of him or whatever. So like the fact that enough time has gone by, there is a deep love and respect for him. I'm good with this. Yeah, I'm good with this. I saw somebody in the comments say, what's his African accent look like? And I'm like, yeah, let's hear that too,
Yeah. Well, I mean, Daniel Kaluuya, was in Black. I mean, he didn't have that many lines, but I mean, he British too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, if he can do hey, yo, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can't come around here, you know what I'm saying, with the Snowfall. I mean, I don't know. It can't be worse than Denzel's in Gladiator. It wasn't that bad, but
there's also because when we seen him as a kid at the end of Wakanda Forever, his accent was very light, I guess you would say. Right. So if you're given the time, like he could have been living anywhere during that time period, which would have smoothed his accent out a bit according to wherever he was. So yeah, I'm not even worried about that piece. I'm like, let's go, Yeah,
because you could explain it away, right? I mean, like Storm has an American accent, even though she has Kenyan roots, right? But she's supposedly from New York or whatever. So there's always a way to kind of get that out the way. And let's not sit here and pretend that Wanda didn't start off as a whole, with like a whole Russian, and then by the end of it, she's like, hey kids, what do you want for breakfast? You know what I'm saying? So look, do whatever you want. There's another very important opinion that I gotta get from none other than the one and only movie blogger himself, who is a staunch member of the Recast T'Challa movement, and he joins us here today. What's going on, Ant?
Hey.
Yo, Ant, so I know you are really, really serious about recasting T'Challa. By the way, introducing you to the Pink Riot podcast. We have Keisha right here, and we've got Miss Bree as well, and they both live in the library. Hallelujah. Just so you just in case you was unaware. But yeah, man, this is my boy Ant. Ant runs the movie blog, big huge publication, if you weren't aware. And Ant has always been very, very, very staunch about letting us know that T'Challa should never have had to sit on the bench. There shouldn't have been a Black Panther 2. Now we can all have different opinions. I still think that they was, that T'Challa, was Chadwick, and they was like trying to kind of split, the hairs. But there was a lot of folks that was like, no, No, it is time. Let us go ahead and get a new T'Challa so we can work it out. And right now, it's looking like that may, Anthony, be Damson Idris. Are you cool with that? What say you, friend?
Make it happen. Make it happen. I don't know what's taking so long, but
Okay.
I'm all on board with it. If he's going to be a variant, that would be my preference. If he's little T'Challa grown up, I'll take it too. But yeah, I'm all for it. I saw Damson Idris in the movie F1, and I didn't see Snowfall either, but I did watch F1, and I got to see him a little bit. You know, he seemed capable, and like the rest of y'all, I want to see my man speak Wakandan. He don't necessarily got to have an African accent. If he could pull off like a Haitian accent, throwing some Brooklyn up in there, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Right. You know, Killmonger came through speaking perfect Wakandan, even with his Compton accent or whatever.
Good point.
So
yeah,
I'm down to see it. I'm absolutely down to see it. Like, I need to see him look at Namor and just have instant beef. Like,
right. Hold on. You see my grandma? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like we need to. It's time for avenging. I mean, the only thing is like, are all? It feels like if your name is Idris and you were in a drug show, and you automatically are destined for fame if you come from Britain. Yeah. The last one we saw was a young man by the name of Stringer Bell. I don't know if you recall. Gave us these same vibes. I didn't know he was British until I saw him after the show. And so, is it saying something about American actors? Somebody help me understand. Like these all right. Let me say this the right way because I don't want it to come across anyway because I love my British counterparts. But I've spoken with some of my British friends as well. It's like British people, I believe, grow up in this environment where they get a chance. They see things happening in the United States. I mean, I don't want to say that, take that wrong. And so they emulate what they see, hip hop, TV shows, this, that, the third. I don't feel like it's the same way in the reverse. I mean, yeah, I love Doctor Who, but I'm not walking around trying to like talk like I'm like, oh, it's a TARDIS, And so I feel like they have an unfair advantage because America's so popular. Am I tripping, Brie? Like, there's so many British actors that could easily come into the American film, but all we got is like, what was the girl who played in the Princess Diaries? And it's like we don't have like crossover actors into the British market from the American market. Am I tripping?
No, you're not tripping. I feel like we see it a lot more in the reverse, where people from the UK or actors from the UK are able to I think part of it is the American accent or being able to passively speak as though you're from here is a lot easier to pull off. It's a lot easier to pull off. As a reformed extreme Spice Girl fan, listen, the way that I struggled and put in the work trying my damnedest to sound like Scary Spice is actually embarrassing. But it's not an easy thing.
No.
Yeah.
Say something.
Get away with that.
Say something.
You can easily clock an American trying to do that. But I feel like our, the way that we speak is a lot easier to emulate.
So Bree, when you were trying to sound like when you were doing your best Scary Spice impressions, what did that sound like?
What did it sound like? It sounded fucking great. That's what it sounded like.
No, we would love to hear it.
Because how old was I? I was what was that, 11, 12? Living my best life.
I'm sure you remember.
Yeah, you for real ain't go. You ain't go. Come on. Hello, Black. Yeah, shout. If you wanna be my lover, you always got to.
Whoa, what was that?
That accent, I don't know what that was, but
that was Jamaican.
All right. If you're going to try to use an accent, you have to turn it on just a little bit, and then give yourself space to smooth it out. Because if you're going too strong, if you're going way too strong, it comes across really offensive and a bit problematic, so you can't do that.
Okay.
It's got a little, but you can tell I'm not from there. Like, it's that simple. Like, you know what I mean?
I ain't gonna lie. The way you hold the mug, it definitely gives
Right?
South London.
It added.
So
It added.
I ain't gonna knock that,
Talked
man.
about this last time. You're not gonna come for me in my mug because it's hella early on the West Coast. Okay.
I love the
I
mug.
love
What do you
the
I
mug.
would never say nothing about it. But nah, man, it's definitely not easy, in my opinion, as we see here, to emulate English accents as well as it is. And also, there's a lot of American accents, and I don't know if it's hard. Like, in England, I don't know if y'all been, but the South Londoners, we don't talk like the country people and all that other stuff. So there's always a whole other thing. But either way, this is definitely happening, and he has some things to say about it.
Cast is the next Black Panther. Have you had any conversations about that? Yes or no?
Yes, no.
By the way, the yes no means yes.
Could mean no.
No, probably means yes. If they asked, would you say yes?
Yes.
There's some speculation.
So what Ant says is really ringing in my ears right now. The potential for this to be a variant, right? Like, we haven't necessarily explored that. I recall when we were, I don't want to say we, but a lot of folks in the public were clamoring for John Krasinski and his wife, Emily Blunt, to be Sue Storm and Reed Richards from Fantastic Four because of their images. They kind of like they just look like Sue Storm and Reed Richards. And so what did Marvel do? They gave it to us, right? In a satirical way. In I think was it Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. We got it, but I think that Reed ended up like a spaghetti string, and we never got the Emily Blunt. So there's a potential for us to get Damson as Black Panther, but it's just a one-off. So when he says yes, no, that might be 100% true. Yes, I'm Black Panther, but I'm doing a cameo. You're going to see a split, quick image of me in Earth 836, and where I'm T'Challa, the Australian, or something stupid. Hopefully they keep it real with Wakanda, but they can do anything with it. Would that be something? And then if they really want to do it, which seems like what they're going to do with Victor Von Doom, they could be like, okay, we're going to snatch up that Black Panther. Now you belong to Earth 616, homeboy. Will we be okay with that, Keisha? Like, I think that this is an opportunity to fill the void of Chadwick Boseman. Now, we don't want to replace. We cannot replace Chadwick Boseman. His legacy is sealed forever. He gave us the first $1 billion box office movie for a Black superhero, point blank period. Can't nobody take that away from him ever. But can this help fill the void, Keisha? What say you?
I don't want him to. I like the idea of him being a variant. So, like, if he has a variant and he has his own thing, then I would prefer that more than him coming in 616 in the MCU universe and taking over, like, Shuri being the current Black Panther, because I still want to see that as well. So yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. Let it rock. I'm interested in seeing the creativity that they're gonna come up with to, like, flesh everything out and keep everybody happy, as happy as everybody can be.
Okay, I'm here for it. I mean, listen, we're already getting evidently Denzel, because Coogler was mentioning that Denzel may be in it, and I think that we can all collectively agree that there is no such thing as a Denzel African accent. Denzel gonna be Brooklyn. Even when he was in Cali doing training day, he was Brooklyn. Yo, that's PCP. Like, it's freaking Denzel. But there's another opinion I want to hear about, man. Ant, hold it down, man. Don't go nowhere. None other than the one and only Ty Briggs is in the house to tell us how he might feel about this new casting of T'Challa. So let me go ahead and bring my dog in here, man, and say what he got to say. Yo, reporting live from the golf course is none other than Bad Ty Briggs bringing in that hot vibe. What's going on, homeboy? What say you?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? Yo, I woke up to a power outage in the neighborhood, so y'all getting me live from the vehicle. So yeah. What's good though?
Well, we were talking about the potential for Damson Idris. I don't know why I say his name right. To be cast as the next T'Challa. Now, we know that means a lot. That's a mouthful, Ty. Like, cast as the next T'Challa doesn't necessarily mean he's taking Chadwick's place. It doesn't. I mean, he could be Toussaint T'Challa that we saw, who was the son of Nakia in the Black Panther universe that's on cinematic. That's in cinematic. But my man Ant has said he would like to see him as a variant. Keisha agrees with that as well. Nobody on the panel thus far has opposed the idea, but we have yet to hear from you, my friend. What say you? What do you think about the potential for him to take the Black Panther mantle?
Yeah, I've always thought that if that was the route that they decided to go, as far as recasting T'Challa, that Franklin Saint would be the one that you would want to take over that role. I think he's a great actor. I think this new movie that he's got that I think debuts next week, F1, is gonna propel him back up into the starlight. I think it's been a while since we saw Snowfall, and some people forget. When you're away for a while, they tend to forget. But anybody that watched Snowfall knows just how phenomenal of an actor Damson Idris is. So I'm all for it. And I do believe that his success on F1 will dictate what version of the Black Panther, if he plays that role, you will see. I think if he has the star performance that I think he will have in F1, opposite of Brad Pitt, I think they'll have no choice. Marvel does this all the time. They will capitalize off your momentum. So I think right now it's fair. I'm with and I would be okay with him being a variant. But again, if he has this strong Oscar performance in F1, I would not be surprised if they just be like, look, we finally listened to the fans. We're gonna recast T'Challa. So we'll just see how it works out. But I think whichever direction they go, you can't go wrong with this dude.
Yeah, I think he's pretty. I think that the thing that I notice is that you don't get as soon as you bring up Damson's name, it's not like bringing up Ace from Paid in Full, like an Ace from Paid in Full. No, what I'm saying? We love Ace, but he probably could have did it maybe, but Damson seems to be that guy right now, especially with the spotlight hitting his way. Even with the Brad Pitt, because Brad Pitt done has some controversies, and what I'm saying, like right now, I think that him being associated with Damson is helping Brad Pitt. If you could ever think about something like that, because I don't know if y'all know, but Angelina Jolie took kids away, and they yelled at them on the plane. Brad Pitt evidently is not a great father. Stoner, yes. Father, no. But we'll leave that for speculation. So I don't know. The thing that I'm also thinking about is he even introduced in a Black Panther movie? Like, we're talking about, this could be a Secret Wars introduction. This could be a Doomsday Avengers introduction. There's a whole lot of different ways they can go. And if I know Marvel, they'll introduce him one way and then continue going on with him some other way in the future. So I don't know, man. Now, you, like I said, have been the strongest voice in our circle with regard to recasting T'Challa. If you had any say in their writer's room, if you were there, you're at the table, they're putting together the sheets for Black Panther 3 or introducing this new Black Panther version, variant, whatever you want to call them. What do you think would be necessary to make sure that the legacy of not only Black Panther, T'Challa, even Chadwick, if you want to throw that in there, to make sure that it is represented appropriately? What you think?
So Marvel's always had an uphill battle of trying to separate the character of T'Challa away from the actor of Chadwick. And because the public at large just doesn't know them differently than that, it's been a really big challenge for Marvel. I think the biggest thing that they need to accomplish is continue to establish that The multiverse doesn't erase your legacy characters. Just because you bring in a new version of the character doesn't mean the old version of the character goes away. I think that they're seeing more evidence that general audiences are getting more okay with that. Miles Morales has done a lot for it, right? Miles Morales just going out here, making Academy Award nominated movies left and right, and wearing the name Spider-Man across the marquee does a lot for Marvel to feel comfortable with handing over the title to a new character. So Marvel just needs to continue to do that. They just need to keep going down that route of letting Damson Idris version, whether he's a young T'Challa or a variant, establish his own legacy, maybe give it a message the way Miles does, because I'm going to do it my own way kind of thing, and run with it. They could easily make a marketing thing out of this. This is not hard. This is an easy billion on the table again.
Yeah, I see it that way too. One question I have for y'all is this: are we oversaturating the market with the live action? I just, at the recommendation of my homeboy, who's in the Pittsburgh Steelers stuff at the bottom of the screen, I got a chance to check out this thing called Predator, the animated version. This updated joint on Hulu. I don't know if y'all seen it. And I gotta say, this shit right here, nigga. Like this shit right here. Like, there is no pulling of any punches within the first 5 minutes. Heads rolling. And I mean, like, there's no pulling of any punches. The reason I ask you this is because we saw the success of all of the Spider-Verses, right? And we're still building on that. We still got Across the Spider-Verse coming. All right. And I know Brand New Day is coming in Spider-Man. I mean, I'm a Spider-Man guy. But is there a possibility that we may be missing an opportunity to capitalize on an animated Wakanda universe? Like, I feel like we can go there. Please, come on, Keish.
Aren't they doing the Eyes of Wakanda? Isn't that coming out like this summer? So we're gonna have that. But I grew up loving DC animated movies. Like, and Marvel animated movies, like that was how I was introduced to Hulk with Planet Hulk, I think. Then Doctor Strange, like that animated movie, like really got me into Doctor Strange and like understanding his lore. I personally love the animated movies more than live actions, but that's just me just loving cartoons in general.
I get it.
I really do want more. But I think a lot of animated stuff, I don't know, not enough people give it a chance. Like outside of the blurred community, I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm just saying like they probably don't see the value in it, unfortunately, which is doing a real service to the stories.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, because right now I still think that there's a lot of folks that still look at animated stuff as kid stuff. What's up, Ty?
I was just gonna say, to kind of piggyback off that, I think the real problem is the lack of continuity between the animation and the live action. What made Killer of Killers better is the fact that they did have a level of continuity in it. If you paid attention to the end of the movie and who was in the tanks, and you know what I'm referencing, or do you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't get that far, but hallelujah, I trust you.
Okay. Well, if you saw Prey, which was the live action representation of one of the properties in the Predator alien universe, it kind of has like a somewhat of a continuation from that storyline, and I think if the animated creators connect those universes with the live action, I think you kind of get people more invested in the storylines. I think the problem lies when you have a totally different story that has nothing to do with the live action, doesn't connect in any way, and then you have two totally different audiences watching those things. And then Keisha's point is absolutely taken into consideration, because at that point you only have, you know, this demographic that's interested in the animated version of it, who maybe is not so into the live action, or vice versa. And I think a lot more studios can take notes from this Killer of Killers, to where you can have both. You don't have to have either or. You can have both.
Yeah. Like I mean, they're literally doing it with Spider-Man. Literally. I mean, I know it's a whole Sony Marvel Studios, but they're literally doing it. You have Holland, live action. At the same time, you got Miles Morales. All right, and it's almost like in tandem, just like you said, Ty. I feel like they're building off of the excitement. Marvel Studios is building off the excitement that Sonyo. Okay, how much did I smoke this morning? Like, I can't get words together. Like, I'm about to start talking like in a British accent, like I was the Spice Girls fan of it. Hello, cheerio. So I just feel like there's an ample opportunity here, and I think that's also something that DC is at, to kind of quote Keisha, because Keisha, I noticed that you had, and hopefully we can touch on your Mr. Terrific read this week. I hope you don't mind that. But this is showing what DC is doing different that may be actually working, because one thing we could talk about how bad DC's live action content was on big screen. Now I disagree with regard to their little screen stuff. Penguin, immaculate, in my opinion. Watchmen, immaculate, my opinion. We can keep going, but Dark Knight Rises, maybe not as much. The Batman, maybe not as much. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's an opportunity here to get it right using animation as the glue between the pages that are written and drawn and what's actually casted on screen. I mean, Bree, I just feel like you would feel the same way, especially with Mr. Terrific now being in this upcoming Superman movie, which I believe drops next month. And you already have a preconceived notion specifically as how Mr. Terrific probably should be. And if I know you, Keisha, which I don't, if I know you, Keisha, you probably like, all right, now I like the book. So when this movie come out, you know what I'm saying? It better have some semblance of how much I like the book. For those that don't know, real quick, let me drop this on you real quick, because Bree, and then Ty, you ain't off the hook, homeboy. I hope you did watch One Piece the first season as we agreed upon, as these young ladies did do their homework, and they is here ready and willing to dispouse. Yes, sir. So you ain't off man hook, brother. But yeah, I do want to at least show y'all what the homie Keisha said with regard to her experience reading
Mr. Terrific #1. It's written by Al Letson. His art is done by Valentine Delandro and Marissa Louise. Wow. If we can connect this story to what's currently happening in Memphis with Elon Musk and the data centers, with the, all those turbines kicking out all that methane, similar situations is happening in this Terrific issue #1. The main character, if you don't know Mr. Terrific, the main character, Michael, in this run, his wife and child has died, and he's like depressed severely. He sold his company to this other company called Athena Tech, and that is the company that is creating all this havoc in the community. And you see him go through this process of finally waking up and realizing that he made the bad decision to sell to this company. And now he's like on this path to correct it, but then something happens at the very end. The artwork was interesting. Like, the line work was heavier than what I'm used to, but all in all, great. I can't wait to see what happens in this and how we can use this to then, help people understand what's currently in in not just Memphis, but multiple Black communities. I just finished.
Could you, if you don't mind, expounding on that a little bit, Miss Keisha? It's very, very, very well said. But give us a little more, because that was a short clip, man. Delve, give us the full.
Honestly, so I've known of Mr. Terrific. He shows up in a couple of the DC animated movies, but I didn't really know his lore like that. And so this is the first run that I'm reading and getting to know him as an individual. Like I said, I really enjoyed this comic. The way I read stories in general, no matter the medium, is really just connecting it to our world and how we can, critique what we go through as Black folks under oppressive systems. And so Mr. Terrific is like a great example of that, like currently, just seeing how this man who has all of this power, all of this money, how is he going to fix something that is going on that is negatively impacting the Black community? So yeah, so far it is absolutely great. I can't speak for how he's going to be in the movies. I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm going to try. But I think it's easier to do it for this one because like I said, I'm going in with, this is my first time experiencing him. So I guess I'm going to get both versions of him at the same time. So we'll see which one, wins in the end.
Did you ladies watch the Arrowverse by chance? Did y'all tune into? Did you see were you how'd you feel about the depiction of
Oh, I don't. Okay, so that's a later season. I went up to season 3, like when they started going into like different. They did something weird, and I was like, yeah, I'm out. He looks interesting.
Yeah.
2015 Arrow. It's an interesting look. I prefer the Superman.
Hold on, what's his face? Look at Bree's face. What Bree in an English accent? Can you tell us how you feel about what you're seeing here right now?
If I'm being completely honest, I'm not a fan. So, no, it's not that.
I was trying to be nice.
No.
Okay, we have officially launched Bree Spice, everybody. We will now refer to her as Pink Spice. Okay, hallelujah. All right, and yeah, that's what we're gonna make you a whole baseball card, and it's gonna have all of your everything like that. That's real cool. Yeah, I didn't like. I don't want to say I didn't like it, but I feel like this upcoming version of Mr. Terrific is probably going to do fans a lot better, especially because we get the arc of redemption, right? Like we all recall when old boy was an X-Man, right? And he didn't get his just due, and he just kind of evaporated. You know what I'm saying? Like they just disappearing, brothers. And so now
he's angry about that because that made 0 sense with his power set.
Okay, explain. Give it. Talk to him.
There's no way that character should have died in the way that he did in that movie if he had any of his powers from any of the comics. That was the dumbest thing ever. I hate it so much. Make it go away.
I mean, the fact that he was gone so quickly, and we was kind of excited when we saw Black X-Men. We're like, oh, wow, okay. And I mean, because the hues ain't always been on point. So here's one where they got the hue right. It happened, but I feel like he himself is also getting excited about the possibility that he'll be able to finally have a different representation of superherodom as opposed to what it is that he got. As for the depiction, Bree, Keisha specifically, since you said you read the comic, what do you think about the way that they're making him look in the movie?
Solid. I mean, yeah, I'm not against that. It's solid. It's better than the Arrowverse, definitely.
Way better.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keisha's more open in her comic reading. I'm more women of color in comics. I was like, yeah, you tell me what you think about that, and I might buy it if you liked it, but I'm not getting it.
Okay, for the average fan, and then we'll move on real quick. And ladies, check out the private chat when you can. For the average fan, can you just give us an idea of what to expect from Mr. Terrific for the fan who doesn't even know what his powers set are or what his background is? For those who haven't read anything, just if you could just clue them in, and then we'll see where we go.
I mean, isn't he, from what I read off of that first issue, like he's like a Black Batman? He has a lot of money. I mean, he He has a lot of money. He's using it to better his community. I wouldn't say I prefer him more than Batman, because Batman kind of comes off a particular way for me. He comes off spoiled in a way, or just not understanding the real big picture. But yeah, I would say he has a ton of money. He's not like
He also has
super
above normal intellect. That's the only thing that I know
very
about.
intelligent.
Yeah, when you're talking about like smartest people in like comic universes, his name is pretty high up there.
Yeah.
But that's all I know about. I don't read Mr. Terrific books.
And his morals are fairly solid. Like, you know, he's not gonna like off some. I haven't seen him do that.
Does his money come from a trust fund? Is he in the books just a legacy rich man? Does he have a startup? Is he Madam CJ Walker in the
I think it's a startup.
Madam CJ Walker is
right. I think it's a startup, and just the type of products he sold, like the type of inventions that he sold. Because in that issue 1, he is working with another character on creating some new tech that helps with his friend being able to be like a better, more available, what is it called? Gym, in the gym, private, somebody working out. I don't know why. Maybe I haven't been to the gym too often.
What?
But yeah, he's creating all these different like inventions and stuff. So yeah, just very smart with a lot of money, and he's using it for good.
Are Black people sleeping on Mr. Terrific?
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Do you think?
And this issue is being written by a Black person, because that's another gripe of mine, where you have Black characters written by everybody else in the world. You know, you want to have that story, especially that story that is impacting the Black community. You want it written by somebody with that lived experience. So I would definitely say read Terrific #1, Mr. Terrific. Read that run, definitely. And watch this movie. I'm interested in seeing how he's portrayed here.
Yeah, well, the books definitely want to read those. But by all means, Mr. Terrific as a Black superhero, I'm really hoping that he gets the time on screen that garners more interest in not just his character, but his comics, so that can sell. And who knows, maybe spinoffs can result in that. And we'll just have to see where that goes. I mean, because I ain't gonna lie to y'all, ladies, I ain't a Superman fan.
Oh, same.
Neither.
Yeah, I mean, why do y'all? Bree, why you don't like? I mean, what's your qualm? And same for you. I'm curious as to your feelings on Superman. But Bree first.
Well, I've already said this several times. My comic reading and collecting is centered on women of color in comics. So I wasn't going to pick up a Batman or a Superman or Mr. Terrific for that matter, unless I'm like getting a strong recommendation, or if there's some creators on it who I really like. Like the only Superman books that I have in my collection were because Jamal Campbell did the art for one of the more recent Superman runs, and we rock with Jamal Campbell, period. He's one of my favorite comic book artists. But yeah, outside of that, like we have these jokes all the time about how we can't stand that there's like at any given time there's like 6 to 7 different Superman runs happening at the same time, or Batman runs happening at the same time. They get like a whole ass Christmas special run. It's just ridiculous. Like it's the same stories, like what you were saying earlier about like our black fans sleeping on Mr. Terrific. I feel like a lot of Black fans are sleeping on a lot of Black characters. Everybody's like, oh, Black Panther, Black Panther, Black Panther, but it's like there's a lot of Black hero characters that you could really get behind and show some love and support. Like the fact that who was that mentioning Miles earlier, Miles Morales, he's like, his character is speaking volumes to the potential for a character to evolve, become their own separate identity from their origins, and then become a whole movement just because they're doing it their own way. So y'all can miss me with any Superman or Batman story ever until they start introducing other more interesting characters. Like you mentioned Penguin earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Penguin ate. It really did. And we had like a whole conversation about like how it ended. It like kind of gave you the idea that maybe we were going to get more spin-off type of shows or properties around those characters, and it's like, ooh, it's tough because I can't stand Robert Pattinson as Batman. He was a trash Batman, but I loved Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle. So it's like you had what's her face in Penguin talking about, they mentioned Selena, so it's like, ooh, I would want it to be the Zoe Kravitz Selena Kyle, but not if it meant we had to see more Robert Pattinson Batman. So yeah, if you're asking me about Superman or Batman, I'm good off all of that.
You don't like Pattinson? You're not Team Edward? You don't like Team Edward? No. Oh, okay.
No, I love Twilight, but that was the end of it, actually.
Yo, Keisha, were you about to say something? You got your hand up?
No, actually, wholehearted. I love the British accent. I'm going to beg you to do that from like here on out. Bree Spice. Just know that name sticks. I will be asking more of this. Thank you. No, I mean, I respect everything that Superman stands for. You know, the fact that he is an immigrant, he looks out for immigrants. You know, he is like, if you're gonna have an overpowered superhero, you know, he's pretty good. I just, like Bree said, I wish we did not have 1,000,001 versions of, you know, all of these superheroes. Like the fact that we have a bunch of Harley Quinn runs and then they still put out the farting one that, you know, like what the like I was about
the way that Keisha despises that so much.
It was like of all the money, all the energy you can put into something, you put one of fucking farting, like
okay, and I'm on the opposite end of that because I'm like, it's okay to have a beloved character have some wacky stuff happening,
but that was crazy.
Run. But it just seems egregious and disrespectful when they have all of those, and then you have like Storm having been just celebrated her 50th anniversary, and this is like one of the first runs where they're actually putting some respect on her name and letting her have all of the variants and let it be written by a Black person and you know, just really letting her power set thrive.
We could have gotten more Vixen. We could have gotten somebody else. And
they played the hell out of Naomi. They played the hell out of Batgirl.
Exactly. They didn't even flesh out Naomi. Like, she's super overpowered, but like I wish we got more to like really figure out who she is and where her limits are. Like they didn't give us enough of all of these other ones, and they are just sticking to their tried and true, not willing to experiment, even though they have the money and the resources to do it. They just don't have the creativity and imagination. So
someone in the chat is talking about Superman being a very interesting character, and they mention a Black female hero. She's actually an anti-hero, and her name is Marilyn Moon. Marilyn Moonlight. And she is steezed up. Okay.
Yes.
She has that shit on. Like, she is a strong contender for one of my first cosplays when we start doing cons next year, because she's a whole slay. And if you notice, when she's introduced, that was one of the runs that Jamal Campbell was working on. So we did buy it, and I copped every variant of her introductory issues. So yeah, there are, but that you just made my point. Like, we got a bazillion Superman stories. Thank you for the love on the accent. We have a bazillion Superman stories, and then you introduce this hella interesting ass anti-hero in Marilyn Moonlight. She shows up in like 3 issues, and then she just goes by the wayside. I would read the hell out of a whole ass Marilyn Moonlight book, but when are we gonna see it? Probably never.
Well, I mean, I hope we get to see Marilyn Moonlight, but as you know, you got to be done right, Bree?
100%.
Yeah.
So they better now, Ant. I was curious about your feelings about Superman. Right now we are 2 for 2 with not necessarily feeling Superman like that. I got my personal opinion, but I want to go last.
People's eyebrow he just did.
Yo, hold on. Let me get the thumbnail. No, hold on. Let me get the thumbnail
Solid.
shot. Like, yo, you see the thumbnail? That's a new GIF. Come on, Ed. Oh, you muted, bro. You muted. Ooh. Right,
my fault. Yeah, Superman. I used to care about Superman when I was a kid. When I was little and I was naive enough to hope that Superman was a real thing or person running around, and then somebody burst my bubble along with Santa Claus, and I no longer had money under my pillow when my tooth came. All that stuff ended. I started to care about Superman less and less. I mean, like, Superman was great for a while, but the problem is, and I think a lot of people will agree, is that we haven't had a Superman story that's really resonated with anybody for decades. If I go around the room and I say, hey, have you heard of the death of Superman? 10 out of 10 times in most scenarios, people will say, yeah, I've heard of it.
Right.
If I bring up, have you heard of the story of New Krypton? When Krypton was brought back to life and was put in adjacent orbit to Earth, people are gonna be like, the fuck? Right? Like, you don't have Superman stories that really resonate with people. So I don't have a problem with the character if he's written right. They just don't usually write him right. We'll see what happens in the new movie.
Okay. All right. Well, it seems like we all have a little bit of reservation. What about Val Zod? Are y'all familiar with Val Zod? Do y'all like the concept of you're not feeling Val Zod? Val Zod, evidently a cousin of Superman, right? No, wrong.
He's a adopted son of General Zod.
Adopted of Zod. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I mixed up his Supergirl and Superman. I don't know how the hell I did that. My bad.
Yeah.
But Val Zod is a black dude. He's a black guy from Krypton. All right. As obviously with the name Zod. And at one point in time, there was potential. There was talks about Michael B. Jordan taking over this role or whatnot. Michael B. Jordan, yeah, that's Bane. So I don't remember, like, there was this whole push for Michael B. Jordan to be like Black Superman at one point in time, and people was like, all right, and there's actually a black. I mean, he's not Superman, but there's a black Kryptonian that they could make him as. But if I could just real quick, my spiel with regard to Superman is a tiny bit different. For me, it's the relatability factor. All right. It's 100% the relatability factor as it pertains to me. I just don't know how I can relate to a dude who gets sent to another planet and then all of a sudden is the king of the planet. They're looking at him like a god. And all he's done is showed up and exert his powers and push his will all over the place. Oh, he's so humble. He's a reporter. Oh, he's got an S curl. No, bro, you got privilege. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want. And it's a little like you got to do like Black Panther. We got to keep himself hidden. You know what I'm saying? Who's hidden from the whole world? Most powerful dude, most rich, and he's in a whole hidden country. We got to do like Miles Morales, who still stays in the projects. Hallelujah. Like, he's still in school. He got all these people who are trying to make it, and here you go, just pop out of the sky and you run shit. No. I'm sorry. I got issues with that because I can't relate to it. That's never happened to me. I've been more of let's take Peter Parker. Peter Parker stayed with his aunt because he ain't got his parents. Does he stay in the Hamptons? Fuck no. He's in Queens where they still catch the dollar band for $3. Right?
Hey,
he's not somewhere where he's at the top of the Avengers Tower. He still don't got a girlfriend. All right, he got to worry about whether or not if he has a girlfriend in public. If Green Goblin is going to find him and his auntie. And now we got Happy trying to beef up on it. Oh, and we ain't gonna talk about what happened in the last one because auntie ain't even around no more. But these are relatable things. I cannot relate to a dude who landed on a farm and all of a sudden he can burn me with his eyes from millions of miles away. I can't relate to a dude who can overhear all of my conversations. Like, how you gonna mess around on Superman? He can hear you. He can hear you wherever you are. Like, too much power does not necessarily, for me, equal a good superhero. I think just having kryptonite as a way to kill him is not enough. In fact, I think that having kryptonite has not been exposed enough. How come ain't nobody putting no kryptonite in his grits?
We both know that white man is not even. Okay, just stop it. Just
I'm sorry.
Also, one time for all of the Superman fans in the chat going crazy talking about this original story, Naomi's backstory is very similar, but they address the aliens and all of that are the source of her power set in a way cooler way, and they really shot on her story and gave her a CW ass style show.
Oh my god!
Still good despite that, and then they let it go by the wayside. So I don't want to hear none of these Superman chats talking about the story, the this, the that. Naomi did it better, and y'all not supporting her. So whatever.
Do you mind giving me a quick love bomb on Naomi, ladies? I watched the show. I didn't read the comic as much, and I know you ladies are deep into the comics in the literary sense. Would you mind just giving us the full extent of what everybody missed with the Naomi casting? Is that cool?
I mean,
I didn't see the show, but I read the comics.
Yeah. Wait, I was just gonna say Keisha's a bigger Naomi fan than I am, but this is just another example of both of our love for Jamal Campbell's art, because he ate that up.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah, there's two volumes of Naomi's comic run. The whole thing is spot on. Similar background story to Superman. You know, she came down, alien pod crash landing situation, but the way that they like revealed the people who were in place to like protect her and keep her safe and help her develop her powers and all of that was way better than just dropping her off on a farm somewhere and then letting her run shit. Like, there's actual character development. But yeah, and then the show, I think they CW Smallville the hell out of it to where, to me, it felt a little like squeaky clean for what the story could have been, but it was still a fun show. Like, all of those CW style shows were popping off and people were watching those, but for some reason, when you got a black girl with, freestyle braids, now she gets the show gets canceled. It's the dumbest thing ever. But yeah, it's a solid story. The art is amazing. The way that they approached like the celebrity aspect of superheroes, of what it would really be like if we were, superheroes existed in our current reality. They would be on the news. You would have like fangirls pulling up, trying to get debris from whenever they tear up a building and stuff like that. And
yeah,
that was part of her origin story too. I feel like I'm trailing, but yeah, Keisha is the bigger fan. I'll let her say her piece.
So I can't speak on the show because I haven't watched it. But overall, Naomi, I liked it. I love the story. Because not only was Jamal Campbell, there's another black creator that's on that one. I forget. Is it Chuck Brown was on it? There was 2 black artists and writers on it with Bendis. So I think they did a really good job fleshing out Naomi as a character and her being an orphan in this town. I love the art. Like you said, Jamal Campbell did a fantastic job with the artwork in depicting like how the news would, deal with her and what she's going through, how her family would deal with her being an orphan and like her figuring out all these powers. I have my issues with Bendis, and I feel like, you know what? I'm not going to say that yet because I haven't watched the show. I'm going to watch the show, and then I'm going to see if I'm right.
Oh.
I'm going to see if I'm right.
You still going to watch the show?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I know it's not going to count as much with it not being on TV right now. But I still want to support it. I still want to support Black characters in whatever shows they have, because we do not get a lot, and we don't always get the opportunity to fail upwards. So I'm gonna still give it a chance.
That part. Keisha always approaches these things from a librarian / historian perspective. So she's gonna, the wave is past, but she still has to know it for her information.
Yeah, for me. I gotta know for me.
Yeah.
And see.
Okay. I feel like Black Lightning was almost good.
Yeah.
Hold on, hear me out. The reason I say it because sometimes I feel like Black Lightning himself, I feel like they pushed him to the back to make way for the daughters. As I like that portion of it, but I'm questioning what was the motive for that. Was it because Khadijah's man from Living Single wasn't holding it down? You know what I'm saying? Or was it because the character himself wasn't garnering enough attention, so we want to go ahead and pass it on to Lightning and Thunder? I loved the daughters more than I did the actual Black Lightning. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I mean it was almost good, because if it was really that good, we would have loved all of them just as much. Am I trip? I mean, Ty, go ahead, put me in my place.
Nah, it was good. And what made it good was the fact that the supporting cast was so good. Sometimes when you have that many really good actors and actresses, and the story is a good written story, and sorry for my stuff, I'm still got shaky internet over here, but like everybody on that, if you think about it, from the Tobias who was played by what's his name? I thought you was gonna remember it. Vince, the rapper, Crondon, played by Crondon. You know, we didn't know that, you know, a villain could have class at that level until Crondon stepped on the screen. The daughters were phenomenal, which especially Nafisa, that she was one of my favorites. And I think what happened is, as the show progressed and fans got in the comment sections and started to be like, yo, we love Nafisa, we love then I think the story kind of veered in that direction. But remember, this is like 3 seasons in at that point, like, you know what I'm saying, before that happened. But this was a very I loved Black Lightning for the first 3 seasons. Absolutely loved it. It started to veer in some directions and started to get a little bit crazy, but for overall, my man who played Black Lightning was the right guy. He was the right guy. They made that he was the right guy to choose. The wife, everybody. I just can't think about everybody on there was great. Like everybody, like his partner, like everybody. That show, like, it did not. If it was on any other network, like if it was on Apple TV or Netflix or any other streaming platform, Black Lightning would have been a hit.
Okay.
CW had a CW by the time Black Lightning came out. It already had this texture and this brand.
Ooh,
and everybody was everybody was like it got to the point where you was like, it's on CW, and they was like,
exactly.
CW. Because it was shocking. It was shocking seeing that villain, like, to go back on like how much it was shocking seeing that type of villain and the egregious things he was saying to Black
wildly out of pocket. Wildly
out of pocket. Like, yo, they let you say that shit on CW? Like, they was already pushing the buttons. They was pushing it already.
I like the idea of Freeland. You know, I like that city. I think that one of the underrated characters on that show was Lala.
Yes.
I think that he held it down so hard. And I just loved that he was like I feel like if like Lala, if I see him in real life, like I might cross the street. You know what I'm saying? Like Lala was like a real life thug, you know what I'm saying? And I'm with it. But yeah, man, the superhero shows on CW, they get put into that category, right? Flash was one of the few that like sustained over a while. Arrow did it even though they didn't have superpowers. But then when they got the Black Lightning, it's already like, okay, and then we had got Legend of the Superheroes. And what was it? The
Legends of Tomorrow. Legends
yeah,
of Tomorrow.
all these other, you know, and then they do the mashups where they all, you know, do the little, you know, oh, we're doing the Armageddon. And it's like, all right, well, I would love to see that on Hulu or somewhere where they could be a little bit more free with the actual writing, because the stories, I don't know, they were great, but man, do we want to see Black Lightning brought back on the big screen? Do we want to see Black Lightning get another chance? Has he had his chance? Is it over?
People's eyebrows sending me. He don't even know he's doing it.
He got, come on through, Cap Spock. You know what I'm saying? What'd you say? Ant? You want to see more Black Lightning? Did you even watch it? Are you into it?
I watched some of Black Lightning. I ain't watch all of it because at that time I was kind of burned out on the Arrowverse. I was like one of those people that was like invested and wouldn't stop no matter how much it hurt. So I watched it, but then I kind of tape it off. I wouldn't look. First off, bring all the black characters back. Absolutely, bring back Black Lightning. But what I'm dying for, and like I can't even tell you, when I was watching the show, I was low-key hoping for, please, for the love of God, please find a way to bring in Static. Bring in fucking Static, yo. Like this has got to pave the way to bring in Static. Like I've been holding out hope for Static for like 25 years of my life, and that was the closest we got.
And there's so many actors who want that role. They've like publicly said they want that role. Old dude from Stranger Things, old dude from Sinners.
Miles
Catone and
boy that was in Power Rangers. The dude from Power Rangers too, wasn't he?
Yes,
and the dude from what was that cowboy movie that had all the people I love in it? Harder They Fall. Yeah, that. Yeah. The trickster shooter dude from that. He wants to play Static too. So
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm terrible with actor names, but there's hella people who want the role and are like holding out hope for that role. So it's like just give the people what they want, you know.
Static. Yeah. Do y'all agree with me? Static would be better served with the series. I don't know if I'm ready to give him a 2-hour theatrical introduction because, I mean, we want it fleshed out, and in addition to that, we want to also see characters around him. I want to see Rubber Band Man. I want to see like how they give us the full-throated origin, because I don't think that Static, unlike all the other comic book characters who have been recreated over and over and over and over, Static has not been properly introduced to the public, to the general public.
Oh, that's not true, because I feel like we all watched the animated Static. Like I feel like a lot of black people will pull up for a Static movie or show. Yeah. Because even if they never read a comic or, you know, Static was like Saturday morning.
You know who Static is. Yeah.
You know Static.
I think
somebody else.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason why I would want a weekly show, just for the pure nostalgia, you know, of how it was back in the 90s where you could watch them weekly on cartoons. So I think just for nostalgia, I want a TV show, but a movie I'm great with too.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ant.
I want both. Fuck that. Nah, fuck that. I want both, yo. For real. Nah, for real. No cap. Yo, if Spider-Man can be running around for years with TV shows and movies, running around in parallel, different universes, and there's no fucking problem with putting that shit out there, why the hell we can't get Static in both lanes? And I don't mind if it's live action. I don't mind if it's animated. Do what you got to do. Miles, again, has shown us I could sit here for 2 hours and you can introduce Miles to me in that way. And you could make one of those timeless, beautiful movies that we'll revere for years. Word. I could still watch the first Spider-Verse movie. That's how good it is. Ask me if I could watch the first Tom Holland movie.
Say that again.
I ain't gonna lie. I would dare to say I'm the biggest Spider-Man fan on here, and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't as impressed with Homecoming either, bro. And I feel like the reason I didn't like it as much is because it was too heavy on the RDJ. I like yo, scoot over, man. Let Tom cook. And also, I'm old school Spider-Man fan. I'm not big gadget. Oh, my suit speaks to me, Spider-Man fan. But it is what it is. Go ahead, Ty.
I was just gonna say, traditionally, and maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but movies with villains or people with electricity powers outside of Thor have just not done well. It's just I'm just being honest. Like I'm just thinking about all of the movies that like the person's power was electric base. Like I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, huh? Which what?
Horses, honey.
Shocker.
Okay.
Electro. I was about to definitely say Electro.
Miles Morales.
What? No. Miles Morales. What? I'm talking about. Nah. What I'm saying is, Miles Morales has superpowers that exceed just his electric. That is one of his capabilities. Is that he has electric powers. What I'm saying is a villain or hero whose powers are based in electricity, like it has not translated well on screen. And maybe that's possibly why. I'm with Anthony. I think the best way to roll out a Static Shock is to reacclimate the public to Static Shock. Like, there are a lot of people, a lot of fans that know who Static Shock is, but there's a lot that don't. And the way, and since you have James Gunn, basically, you know, starting over DC and giving fresh new takes on their superheroes, then this is an opportunity to do just that. You can do an animated series with better texture and animation quality. And then based off of that, you started slow with the series. You could possibly make a movie and do an origin story for Static Shock. But I think you definitely need to reacclimate everybody with this newer version of Static Shock, because I think we're in 2025. I think there's so many different ways you could go about showing his powers on screen that would make it look way more exciting than the original cartoon.
Should they go past the PG? One thing about Static is he's always been family friendly. Do you think we'll ever
change?
You don't think that's a change? We should go ahead and just keep it.
I feel like in the comics, there's precedence for that, because like in the comics, you had like a couple of runs that were just like regular, and then we did have like a YA one. Who was that? Keisha
Lamar Giles.
Yeah.
Lamar Giles, Up All Night.
Yeah. So like, I think there's room for it to go either way, but to like key into that nostalgia that Keisha was mentioning, I think keep him the way that he's always been. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe how Ty was mentioning, like introducing it with a newer based animated series, letting people get comfortable with that, and then if they decide to go live action something, then let him have a little more grit or something. But I think keeping him the same is important.
Yeah, because he's like the young hip black character. I want to see him hover on the board and all of that good stuff, and to make that live action, I think would definitely be a step in the right direction. And please, but if you're gonna say something, you must lead with your eyebrow. You got to lead with the eyebrow, bro.
Which one? Real quick. I don't mind if they keep Static PG. I don't mind if they do that. They keep it family friendly. But one thing that is crucial to the character is that you have to be able to approach those sensitive race topics, because Static Shock would low key introduce topics of race to young audiences to make them more sensitive and aware to the issues of other races. It would teach them empathy.
Yeah.
You know, whenever they had those episodes, homeboy would go to his friend's house and his friend was like, "Oh, you brought that one over?" And he would be like, "Oh no, just wait outside." Like those moments and explaining it to children and explaining it to young audiences is important. That was a fundamental part of the character. That's got to be maintained.
I love that. That's a
Yeah.
good point. And I mean, hopefully this paves the way for maybe a Lunetta Lafayette as well to get introduced live action from the Lower East Side. I'd love to see a Moon Girl come. No. Breathe.
We love Lunella Down, and
Yes,
it's
we
just
do.
like,
That's our baby.
do it when you can do it right.
Yes.
Right.
And Keisha kind of touched on this earlier about like different people writing a character and some doing the entirety of their experience justice and some just scratching surface
We can
level.
name names here.
Oh, okay.
Keisha can
No.
again.
Yeah.
Malcolm and Martin. Keisha, go ahead and name drop if you want. I try to keep it cute, but
Uh-oh.
you know, like, if you're writing a black character, you should write to their whole experience. And some authors and creators do that well, and some authors don't.
Yeah.
Names, please.
Okay, so with Moon Girl, that first run, right? It's great. I feel like it did a really good job introducing her and tying it into her original lore with Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur. And so Montclair did a really good job with that. But where it fails in a lot of ways is showing the perspective of a black girl from New York. Like, okay, yeah, she's really smart. She goes to this public school. We understand that, but like, there was nuance that run misses in many ways, and only in the Jordan Afueco run and the Stephanie Williams run do you really get to see Moon Girl fleshed out, at least on page, as a completely black girl from New York and just having those experiences. Is one of the reasons why
series did it well too, I think.
Yes, the animated show did a phenomenal job, and the fact that it got canceled was absolutely insane.
Low-key, I think that's why it got canceled, because it was doing a lot of heavy lifting.
It did. It got canceled because I know supposedly there was this one episode that they were supposed to have been in the second season, and it got pulled. And so, and then the decision for it to get canceled got done shortly after that. But like, yeah, Moon Girl characters that are written by people with those lived experiences, I think, are just infinitely better. So if we will have a Moon Girl live adaptation, I hope that it is someone who understands the experiences of black girls in New York City. That's all I ask. Just make sure that we understand that and we get to see that versus, you know, what we got in that 10th anniversary episode issue.
Yeah. Because I mean, New York. I mean, yo, for those who didn't watch Moon Girl, the animated series, if you call yourself a blurred, I'm gonna need you to circle back. It is must-watch TV. Lawrence Fishburne is one of the actors, and there's a whole star-studded cast of voice actors in that. But the subjects, the content, the actual subliminary messages. When I was watching it with my daughter, my youngest, I had to break down to her one of the first episodes, the subliminal messages in it. There is a white lady whose superpower is that she takes the electric power from the Lower East Side, right? I said, Kiki, do you see what they're doing? There's a white woman taking power from the hood. That's her power. Like, and this young black girl and her dinosaur are fighting for it, along with her family at the skating rink and everybody else. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's good. Like the subliminality. There is an episode, for those who didn't watch, where Moon Girl has to fight her hair. Now, if you're a black woman,
well, I have none.
Well, you know, listen, if you're a black woman, hair is a subject that you cannot escape on a daily basis. And they made a whole episode out of it where she had to fight her hair to get it right. This is real shit, the subliminal shit. You
Had
gotta
to
be.
fight her hair and then embraced it at the end. That's
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, thank you for bringing it back. Like, this is my point. Is like, you watch it as if you're watching an animated series back in the day, and fight good versus evil. But when you watch it as an adult, you're like, oh, message, ding, 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 and that's riddled throughout and it's not no 6 episode, 9 episode. I think they're like 12, 15, maybe even 20. I think they even skipped one and did like a halfway and was like, where's Moon Girl? It's not coming on this week. Oh, okay, my bad. It's coming on again. So yes, please give it the love it needs. And here's what I love the most about it, guys, and then we'll go ahead and get into the homework. Ty, Bree, Clone Wars, One Piece. We're gonna talk about that. That'll be already past the first hour. But what I love about Luletta is she's literally, I think, in middle school, right? I think she's like in 6th or 7th grade. So she's got the potential to grow for so long. Like, she's literally just being introduced. Smarter than Bruce Banner, smarter than Reed Richards. You know what I'm saying? And she's just now getting her foot in the door. I'm just geeked up because I already see, like, 20 years from now, them throwing a little Easter egg. You know, you can already see it, right? You see them like putting a little Easter egg. Oh, somebody from the Lower East Side helped us develop this technology.
Yeah.
Right? You see it coming.
I don't even see 20 years is far off. I see that happening a lot sooner than later.
Yeah.
And the reason being is, I'll just say it, Ryan Coogler. I think based on whatever Ironheart does, if Ironheart is a success, I could see Marvel going in, renegotiating a deal with Ryan Coogler where he becomes the Kevin Feige of all things black. like they might just be like, yo, you just go, look, you do whatever you want to do. We know you're gonna follow the comics and give the fans what they want. And I think that's that, bro, I'm excited for Ironheart at this point. And I really hope for the success of Ryan Coogler. But honestly, I don't feel like he can fail. Like, it's just this dude is just giving me the type of energy that I need from a black director. And I just think that, if he goes in and has another successful run, then they're gonna be coming like, hey, we want to put you as the head of all things that encompass black people.
I'll say this one last thing real quick, and then let's go ahead and get into you guys' homework. I think that Ryan Coogler has reached ambassador status. What do I mean by that? Yeah. Put your eyebrows away, and like, can you mute your eyebrows? It's like, what is it? Now, like, hold on. Here's what I mean. There comes a point where when you're the guy or the girl, the woman, the motherfucker, the HNIC, if you will, that you no longer are just the one creating these things. You're now charged with creating the culture to keep it going. So Ryan Coogler should be looking for the next Ryan Coogler. Am I tripping? Ryan Coogler should be working to develop folks that can also hold it down, because Ryan Coogler, as a whole vibe, has shown the template and the blueprints as to how to generate successful black characters in a manner that does generate box office success. So I feel like now it would be awesome if he could open up the door for young directors, and start kind of being that mentor, so that we can keep this vibe going. What's up, Bree?
I was gonna say, I feel like he's already doing that, because
Yeah.
while I love that his name is associated with Ironheart, there is a whole team of black women creators who are actually behind the show. He's like the biggest name to associate with it now, but I feel like he's already doing that, because someone in the chat even said that. I can't find it now, but yeah, they were saying that Ryan is a producer of Ironheart, not the director. But yeah, there's like there's like 5 or 6 other black women who are like showrunners behind the show, and his name is on it. So I feel like he's kind of already in that role where he's pulling people up behind him based on their like skill set instead of like what they've already done, because he can speak from experience and know and understand, like, just because you haven't done it yet doesn't mean that you don't have the chops to do it and do it well. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And Ryan, if you're watching, which I know you do, he's an avid watcher every week, and I know he sends the notes. I wasn't trying to say you ain't out there doing it. I'm just saying, like, you're at the bag stance right now where you're no longer like Tyler Perry. Oh, bad name right now. All right, let me not. my bad. All right, sorry. I forgot. All right, I take it back. Let me rewind. You're not. All right. You know what? Let me just say it like this. Listen, at some point in time, Martin Luther King had to show the folks that he would visit their cities. Like, okay, here's what happens after you leave. At some point in time, the NAACP, at some point in time, the Black Panthers, they were training others to do what they couldn't after they left. And so Ryan Coogler, I'm glad that he's already looking forward, because he's getting a lot of projects. He's going to want to do a lot. And what we don't want to do is have him overwhelmed to the point where he's like, look, I don't want to do it anymore. Like, nah, you inspired a whole generation, bro. And now there's going to be so many more that can pick up the mantle where you left that. Thank you.
Vince, to Bree's point about Ryan Coogler, one of the things that I love about him is his transparency. One of the things that he's always doing is like telling people, like, step by step. Like, he didn't have to do this, but he went and took time aside to explain the steps that went into making the centers. When it comes to representation and gatekeeping, a lot of times you have individuals that get enamored with the success, and then they want to just clutch. They don't want anybody else to share in it. They're just like, all right, well, I'm gonna ride this until the wheels fall off, and then when I'm ready to give it up, then I'll maybe I'll pull somebody up. You know what I'm saying? But Ryan hasn't been like that. Ryan has been transparent from day one. I think he's always talking about us and bigging up us as a culture, which is one of the reasons why I think he garners so much support from us. It's not like he's Joe Biden over here, like, yo, you should vote. If you don't vote for me, you're not black. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Coogler is more leading by example, and people see that, and then they just want to support his projects. And then he's a perfectionist. You can see it in his work. This dude is putting quality productions out there. Whether he's directing, executive producing, whatever he's associated with, he's making sure that all of the T's are crossed and all of the I's are dotted. So, yeah, man.
And I love that, because like now, you remember how they was trying? It wasn't but a few weeks ago. Like, oh, how is Sinners able to do this? Because it's a smart nigga at the helm. I'm like, calm your ass down. You know what I mean? But speaking of leadership, Bad Ty, you led this conversation not too long ago, in which we had a challenge.
Yeah.
You saw that episode of Cosby Show? Okay, anyway. Where we was saying, like, well, maybe if Bree watched the first season, if I'm not mistaken, of Clone Wars, that you would match her by watching the first.
Vince muted himself.
Vince, I think you're muted. I can't hear you.
Oh, my bad. Oh, did that have sound on it? Y'all couldn't hear nothing I said? Damn, I messed that up. Anyway, so the point was, I just wanted to make sure y'all were able to get your little homework done. So real quick, Ty, did you or did you not prepare for today?
So what had happened was, I had my homework done. I promise, I had it all done. And then out of nowhere, this wind came and it took all of my. And look, you wouldn't even believe how strong that wind was. I was like, I was running. I caught like one of the papers, but then right when I caught that one paper, like I got hit by a train. And like I know what you're saying. You're like, how are you still alive? Well, right before the train hit me, I was able to just propel myself back a little bit with the last paper that I had in my hand, and I had to use it like a fan. And when I did, the train hit the paper and took the last paper. And yo, I'm gonna need to start. I'm gonna need some makeup days. Can I get like? Can I get like? You know what I'm saying? I promise. Nah. So I watched 18. I want to say 18 episodes.
Damn.
There's hold up. There's 60 something episodes in the first season of One Piece, by the way. Which I thought it was less. And then hold up, man. Nah. Listen, I did.
I said this on the show.
I know you did.
Like, yo, isn't One Piece like 1,000 episodes? Yo, it's all good. It's all good.
No, but no. I never said it was all good. I never said that.
It's all good because I already watched like half.
I did say that. Look, not the 1,000, but the first season, I did say yeah, it's all good. I could watch the whole season. I intended to watch the whole season, but life started lifing, man. And yeah, so I'm still probably like 26 episodes in, and yeah, man.
This is why I can't.
Yeah.
This is why I agreed to none of this, because that's a commitment.
In his defense, though,
yeah.
How many episodes was the first season, Bree, of Clone Wars?
The first season was 22 episodes. Okay. Mind you, Clone Wars episodes are a little longer than One Piece episodes.
Yeah.
So while he probably had more to watch, he did say he had already started it. That otherwise we would have left more concessions for it. I already rock with you, Ty, so I'm not gonna drag you the way I kind of want to.
No, I'm okay.
Because at the end of the day, my goal is not to shade you. My goal was to make you a One Piece fan. So I'm gonna give you grace because that's just the kind of gal that I am.
Man. I'm so thankful. One Piece is a good show. Like that. I will say that I was interested. I am interested. The only problem that I have with One Piece is this is 2025 and that animation is terrible. I'm just gonna be honest. I know, but it's like when it's one thing to tell somebody until you start watching it, and then you're like, oh man, but I was like for real. I was watching it. I'm like, I love the fight scenes. You know, Monkey Luffy. You know, he talks shit. You know, they curse. I was like, damn, they cursing on here. I didn't know y'all was gonna be cursing on here. So I was like, all right, this is definitely an adult cartoon. You know, so you know, there's things that I like about it, but I swear, man, it was like I found myself like really making myself watch it. And whenever I feel like I'm obligated to do something, like I make myself to do something, I rebel. And I'm sorry. I'll try again.
It's not fair. Don't appease this nigga. This was not something you were whipped into shape. This wasn't a part of your probationary role for you to get out of the system. You volunteered for this, my nigga. And if I'm not mistaken, you've watched the Predator movie, right?
Ooh.
What Predator movie?
The animated one on Hulu, right?
Are you trying to compare that to One Piece? Clearly, you haven't watched One Piece.
I'm just saying you had time. You also saw another movie.
Hold on, hold on. All the pause, okay? If anybody's gonna talk their shit, it's gonna be me because me and Ty made this agreement. if I have purposed it in my heart to forgive him and give him grace, we will not accept any further slander, okay?
See, I love.
Ooh, that's not fair. That's bullshit. What is me?
No. You did not take part in this wager, sir.
Fair.
Okay.
Fair.
Yes.
So we're going to
They
give
just
him
gave me so much shit for missing Sinners the first 2 days it came out. I just want to give it back to him real quick because, like, oh, you ain't seen Sinners, you ain't really black. And I was like, hold on, man. I had the volleyball game to go to.
You're gonna have to give that to him for something that's between y'all. But this right here is a little.
I like how she get down. Okay, all right. Well,
I will say though, I did do my homework, and I did decide that I will continue watching Clone Wars. So you guys did convince me. The first season was solid. Okay, I'm invested at this point. It did take a little bit. Now I said this when we talked about this last time that the animation from the start of One Piece, because we're talking about like going all the way back to 90s animation style. So I said it was going to be super nostalgic. If you weren't already an anime fan, you probably were going to have to like struggle through the earliest animation before you get to that point. And there's a lot of seasons of it. So I can respect that. I did say that I initially had an issue with the Clone Wars style of animation too, because it just wasn't my favorite. I feel like this is me showing my age too, but if you really love like OG cartoon, like especially like Disney and all that style animation, when they started leaning into the like, I don't know, I guess digital animation style, I immediately rejected all of that. I was like, I do not like this. It's not the same, whatever. And I had to get to a place where I started liking it better. So it did grow on me after some time. But initially that was a concern that I had, but it did go away. So I will continue watching it.
Hey.
And we're not gonna. That's it. That's all I got.
Because I mean, Keisha, I mean, you're a fan, right? You're a Clone Wars fan.
Clone Wars fan, yeah. I love the storytelling. I feel like out of all the Star Wars movies and shows I was forced to watch, Clone Wars is something I'd watch over and over.
Whoa, was it the force watch method? Were you in a dungeon with a flat screen on it? Like what? Like, how is it that you was forced? Like what happened? Like is this hubby induced Star Wars?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. We are that.
Right. Come on, hubby. Well, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? Like, baby, you finna watch the Star Wars.
No, honestly, yeah. He's like, sit down. We need to do this. We need to do something as a couple. So we're gonna watch this. And I'm like, all right, fine. That's fine. But yeah, this is something we watch this series at least once a year. Like we go through all 7, 8 seasons, like every year.
Holy shit.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's once a year?
Yeah. Like I will never consider myself a Star Wars fan. Like I've already said that here before. I have an issue with a lot of the fandom. But out of all of Star Wars, it's Clone Wars. Anything related to Clone Wars is something like he obsesses with. So I sit there and I watch it with him, and I still can't tell you, hey, where's this ship? Is the ship specifically from Star Wars? I can't tell you none of that. But it's a great time for me. It's a truly great time for me. I love Ahsoka.
Ladies loves a comfort show, so she will rewatch stuff all the time. So
all the time. I'm good for a rewatch.
You reread stuff too?
Comics, yes. Books, no. Books. Interesting.
Sometimes that's the way around. It depends on what it is. But we both did our other homework because Ty did say that he wanted us to watch Forever. And
loved it.
Excellent.
Loved it.
Excellent. I'm
yes.
crying in the club watching this.
Yes.
So cute.
It's that good.
It's amazing.
All right, Ty, I'm gonna go ahead and let you drive this, man, because you were the one that put us on to Forever.
Oh man.
And you were very, very adamant that all folks should at least give it the Anthony Movie Blog 8-minute test. And I mean it's working. Like just go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and take us out. Just go ahead and vibe. Just tell us what it is that y'all love so much about this so interesting, so original, so black, so lovely show that we call Forever.
Ooh, the audio.
I don't know if it was something was coming,
Yeah.
but not for forever is. Oh my God! It pays such homage to Black love
Yeah.
and just the passion in which we love and the way that when oh my gosh, it goes to the center of what I'm always talking about, which is I love the perception of of Black women and Black men when we focus on family and when we focus on the things that make us special in nature. I
Yeah.
think this right here goes to the core of that.
Yeah.
When it comes down to just the reactions of like the mother. Like I think every Black mother, because I know my Black wife in particular is very conscious of this. For their son or daughter is for their son or daughter to marry a Black woman or a Black man. That is a conscious decision that comes at the very core of motherhood and fatherhood. Of course, we love our kids and whatever decisions they make, and we'll support them. But we all have our, Black Keishas. That mean we want to, you know what I'm saying? We all get a little tickle when we like, oh, you like her, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think this is one of those stories that it shows you the levels of how love works. I think with Keisha and what is the young man's name? Because I just forgot it.
Justin.
Yeah.
Justin. With
Yeah.
Keisha and Justin specifically, Justin never really had a relationship until he met Keisha. And he loved her so exquisitely that it felt like he was like swarming her. But when you realize that this young man is just now really discovering what love is and doesn't know, doesn't know what a relationship or what love or loving someone feels like, and then you watch the progressions between them, where it's one minute we're loving each other, one minute we at thing, but we still love each other, but we're at odds, and then we come to terms, we don't give up on each other, which a lot of it goes against the misnomers that are projected in society about Black relationships, right? According to I ain't gonna say his name, but there's a guy out there who may or may not own his own studio, who would have you believe that Black people can't get along, and Black women and Black men have nothing but animosity towards each other every opportunity that he sees fit to make a movie. But that would be false. That would be absolutely false. That is the narrative that one wants to sell, and I get it. But this movie is that fresh, look on what it is that that a Black relationship can look like and should look like. Not only between young Justin and Keisha, but Justin's parents, whom I love.
Yeah.
I absolutely, why is it that I was watching forever? And for those who don't know, I lost my pops at an early age. He got killed. And so I never really had a relationship with my father. But I was watching this show, and I was like, if I would have had a relationship with my father, or if I had an opportunity to get to know my father, I hope my father was like this man, because he was the version of a father that allows my son to grow and to become who he's going to become, but I give him just enough guidance to not be overbearing, but also for him to trust me when it comes time to trust me. There was so many things, man. I could go on and on and on, but I really want to hear from the ladies, because this is why I told them to watch it, and I just want to hear what you guys thought.
Hold on. So let me let me go first because Justin in his relationship with his parents, specifically his mom, I almost cried through most of this show because watching Justin felt like I was watching an older version of my son. So my house is mostly neurodivergent, and both of my kids have ADHD. And so watching someone who looks like my son, behaves like my son, has similar learning differences was big. Like, to have that modeled in such a complex way was absolutely amazing. You see this kid who, he has these learning differences, but he is, he has love for his family. He's an amazing young man. Like, the morals and values that he holds and how he sticks to them no matter what, how honest he is, was just a breath of fresh air to watch on screen. I was heartbroken seeing the struggles between him and his mom, and seeing how you could tell his mom loves him, but she was so fearful. She was so fearful of what she was too afraid to let go and see him become an independent person. She was afraid of what the world would do to him. And it was beautiful seeing how, even though she's struggling with it, you can see that her husband is trying to help her move past that, like get over it to the point where he could become his own person. And seeing that at the end of the first season was just beautiful. I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the second season and see him really like figure out who he is now that he has that independence and that space to do it with music and whatnot. I love the relationship between Keisha and her mom, and the fact that she is this brilliant, beautiful girl, but she's terrified of giving her mom the honest truth because she's so afraid of not meeting her mom's expectations and so afraid of her mom's feelings of possibly doing the exact same thing that her mom did. And it was beautiful seeing her mom, even though after everything that happened, which was terrible and horrible, and I agree with mom and how she wanted to, like, someone needs to pay for something. I love the fact that she still gave her kids space to determine what was going to happen. Like, she gave it up to her kid. She let Keisha decide what was going to happen afterwards. And I don't think enough Black parents trust their kids enough to do that. And so it was, once again, great to see that modeled. Brilliant Black parenting all around. This was 10 out of 10. Thank you so much for that, Reg. Just thank you.
Yes, 100%.
I enjoyed it thoroughly too. I liked that there was representation about like multiple familial experiences, and it wasn't just every Black family environment is struggling in one way or another. It's just they're allowed to just be families and they still show up for their kids, and their kids are still excelling in school. They're just young people who have to figure out who they are and how they want to move forward in life, and they're giving them the space to do that in a respectful way, but what was also true to most Black people's, parental experience. Like, Justin's mom wasn't playing that, like, you know what I'm saying? But there was balance with her husband, and he had to like interject a bunch of times to like make it clear, like, okay, you're saying you want this, but you're smothering him, and that's going to result in this. And then giving their son the space to do what felt right for him, and also leaving space for his autonomy to be able to say, like, you raised me to be a good person and to do this, so that's why I did this. And then also something that you rarely see on screen or otherwise, the mother taking responsibility and accountability for her own actions. There was a scene where she was like, yes, my initial reaction was to protect my son, so I didn't take her circumstances into consideration, but thank you for splashing water on my face. Like, thank you for bringing that to my attention, because a good person would keep her experience in mind, but I was just thinking of you first. A mom like apologizing for, I mean, sarcastically a little, but apologizing for having the wrong take, hearing her son's point of view, and then taking it into account and course correcting in real time. How often do we really see that like modeled in any type of media, honestly, for a Black family? I thought it was beautiful. Yeah, all the way down to like, you know, them going to wherever they went for the summer and stuff like that.
Martha's
Yeah,
Vineyard.
Yeah.
difference in experience, but it wasn't like isolating, and it wasn't a situation where because Keisha didn't have that experience from her own family that anyone there put her down for it. It just was noted that it was a different experience, and there's two sides to everything. Like, oh, you want to be where the Black people are? They're over there. But they very much have their own space. We just do our thing how we do our thing. I'm like, yes, more of this in TV and media, period. Because everybody's experience isn't one note. Everybody's experience isn't negative, and it isn't always either or, because we all embrace each other's experience no matter what. So yeah, loved it. 10 out of 10.
One time for bad time with the good wreck. L, pull on up, homeboy. You know what I'm saying?
Tell a friend.
Yeah, and I gotta say, what you said, I haven't finished it, which is why I took myself out. And I shouldn't have been presumptuous. I didn't know if you watched it or not. I just assumed maybe you hadn't had a chance. I don't know if y'all know, but Ant got like 100 jobs, like literally. I'm so surprised that he's here right now, but because he's like so busy. But yo, I didn't even. Sometimes, man, you gotta hear that thing. Like, all Black love is not based in trauma. Like, when you said something, I mean, I'm paraphrasing what you said, but man, that sent shit that got me shaking right now, because I'm thinking about all of those other movies and shows that we've gotten, right? Yeah. And we're to the point where it started to become the norm, right? It started to become like, oh, you expect it. You know, we've forgotten about the love that dark-skinned Philip Banks' wife was given to Philip Banks, organically and authentically, you know what I mean? And they didn't have to have, they were two successful motherfuckers in Bel-Air. You know, one of my favorite parts about this show is the reality of the relationship aspects, especially between the mom, and when Ace Boogie from Paid in Full was like, yo, oh, you trying to meet up with a Black girl? Man, why you say that? You know
leave with that.
Lead with that next time, right? It's like, yo, just tell moms and show you. It's like, yo, mom, my bad. I was just trying to meet up with Keisha. She was like, Keisha?
From JTD? Right. And he was like, I'm not manipulating you. And she was like, you are. You did a good job. I was like, come through, moms. Come through.
Even when I told Ty this too, one of my favorite parts of one of the first episodes was like, the dad and the mom was arguing, and the mom walked away. My dad was like, chill. She was like, fuck you, motherfucker, you chill. Like under her breath, like as a husband, we are at that moment. Like, you might, fuck you, bitch. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to pick that shit. It's so real. Like, to get into the weeds of the psyche of a husband in a Black, and also, Bree, you touched on this too, and Keisha, you as well. The fact that there is so many worlds colliding here. We have an athletic world colliding with the geek world. The dude's like, yo, I like anime and shit like that. Yeah. I mean, I'm weird though. I'm weird. And Ty, I think you knew that Yeah, you knew when he said that. You was like, oh, I gotta tell Vince about this, because that's what he's like, yo, I'm into weird shit. I'm like, I'm weird. I'm the weird guy. You know what I'm saying? So like that, and then the successful athlete. I remember the program, starting quarterback. Like, this dude pulled up with his mom in tow, right in their face, and they sitting there having a whole. And he was like, the moment, and this is the last episode. This is why I got to get caught up. He's sitting there watching his girl that he's falling in love with, talking to the ex that put him through God knows what. Watch it. You got to watch it. I ain't gonna get all that away. I felt him.
We all did.
Yeah.
We all did.
Watching it, you could like the chest just the black hole just sucking all that energy out of you. And you can, and the mom gave the look like
that was it.
All I'm saying is, bro, and I know you got 1,000,001 things going on, but at one point, man, The 8-minute rule, the 8-minute test. You got to give it to and look, I'll be the first one to take all the criticism for not running to shows where romance and love is the point, is the topic. I'm gonna keep it 100. It's not my jam all the time. But yo, you on point with this one, Ty. I'm gonna go ahead and let them other 40 episodes of One Piece slide.
Yeah, appreciate it. I appreciate that, man. But you know what? One of the things that really like resonated with me from forever is I grew up on the good times and the all of the nostalgic shows that we remember that kind of showcase family. Even in the toughest of times. I mean, we did the Bel Air, the Prince of Bel Air, and all of that kind of stuff. So we know that you can have different sides of the coin. But I think for me, there's been a lot of time that has been lost in shows like that. So Forever is kind of a resurgence of the idea that a Black family can exist without the dysfunction, and even with the dysfunction, but in a way that it doesn't have to always seem as though it's a dream. Like it's like this doesn't exist. This is fantasy. No, this absolutely exists on every day. We see so much of the perpetuation of this discord between Black women and Black men. And I think it's systematic. I know I see by the commercials and the marketing and all of the stuff that there is a definite attempt to break that up, to break that idea of the nuclear of Black family. So whenever I see something like this, I'm always going to spotlight it. I'm always going to big it up because I'm so tired of this narrative that is being projected in the world that you can only find love with an opposite race, or this is specifically with Black people too, by the way. No other races are have to contend with this like we do. But this is, if you want to feel good, not about just yourself, but about your people, watch Forever. And just big up these writers, the ladies who I can't think of her name right now off the top. The writer who wrote this, but a phenomenal staff, phenomenal cast, and I hope this show goes on forever. I really do. That's how good it is. You see what I did there. But yes,
there. Fire too. That's what I love about a good Black show. That the music,
amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
What? That soundtrack is definitely fire. Definitely.
The music was fire. The casting is fire. The concept is fire. The way that they make California look so, I swear I could live there. I promise you. My sister's in Pasadena. I swear every now and then I think, man, I just want to come on over there because they do such a good job, kind of like Issa Rae did back in the day, man. But I really like that. But I say that to say, man, we're coming down to the end of our broadcast for the day, man. That's just for the day, though. And we would be remiss if we did not shout out the homies Pink Riot for their podcast, which they got their own thing, y'all, just so y'all know. See, I ain't got to sit there and wait for them to pull up on Saturdays. They write along with, they have their own thing every Thursday, ladies. If y'all want to go ahead and plug it real quick, please feel free.
That's Bree. Bree usually does the outro.
Oh, Bree does the outro? Okay, come on, Bree.
Every Thursday, we are in the same damn place at the same damn time, streaming to all U.S. platforms at 5 p.m. PT, 8 p.m. ET. We're talking all things blurred experience, comics, movies, media, you name it. Things get kind of crazy, but it's all out of love, and we would love for you to pull up.
Crazy? YouTube? Never. I couldn't see it. I don't know. Who would do that? Not Bree Spice. I don't know.
Never.
That nickname is sticking. I'm sorry. Like,
I'll take it.
if we took
it.
nothing else from this episode, it's that nickname.
Shout out
Respect.
to the
I love
comments,
it.
shout out to Twitch, shout out to YouTube, shout out to the YouTube is on fuego, the Twitch is on fuego, but man, the X, wow, X, okay, we on X. Thank you to the movie blog. Shout out to Ant for pulling up again. Amidst his many jobs that he holds down. Thanks again, homeboy, for being here, man. Don't go too far. Let's have a little bit of an after chat. And also, thanks for Ty pulling up after getting hit by a train and frolic through the wind and power getting turned off and all that other good stuff, man. I wish we could talk a little bit more about it, but as we always say, in addition to our guests, Pink Riot, Naughty, yes, everybody that's with us, you know what it is. Be your authentic self, because if you ain't being yourself, guess what? You being fake, and it ain't no honor in that. Let's keep that real. And in all things, if you a geek, as we always say, go ahead and let that geek flag fly. Deuces.
The new Blurred Order is one of my favorite places to visit. I hope you'll join us next time.